how am I gonna pronounce it? Okay, hello everybody. Here's Thijs again with another review. Continue the reviews on the new cards. So did already a review about I think the first 30 cards, and now I'm gonna follow it up by the cards that are revealed today. The first card that we're gonna take a look at is the Mark of Xaril, and this is a druid specific card. 2 mana, give a minion +2/+2. If it is a beast, draw a card. So what you see in this card is that it is really some kind of power spike, where we have the Mark of the Wild already for Druid, and the Mark of the Wild gives a minion +2/+2 but doesn't draw the card. So what Blizzard is trying here is to really make Beast Druid a thing, and Beast Druid can become strong. It has potential, but it's not strong enough. The card Mark of Xaril, like same as Mark of the Wild, is already a reasonable card, so you will for sure see it play, because it is just better than Mark of the Wild. Even if you don't have a beast in the deck, like it's still, you can get a beast from another minion, and then it has some effect. Where the Mark of the Wild is just an well, give a minion +2/+2 taunt, so it doesn't give the taunt. That's the only difference. But yeah, if they are coming, if Blizzard is gonna, like we only know one other card from Druid, that was a Cartoon card. If they are gonna be more really good, like they have to be really good to make Beast Druid happen. We still need really good draft cards. I tried it once and it's still not really good, but I see good potential for this one. It's an okay card. Like, how can you go wrong? It's also a cycle if you have Beast in the deck. So in Beast Druid, you will play this one. And here we have Infest, 3 mana Hunter card, and that's interesting. Give your minions Death Rattle, add a random beast to your hand. So what we are having here is a combination of, you can see it as like the Ball of Spider, the 6 mana card, play 3 web spinners, and the web spinners give also some random cards. The problem with these kind of cards is, or the problem with this Infest card is, it says give your minions Death Rattle. You need to be on board. If you are behind on board, this card is just going to be dead in your hand all the time. And the strong part about Hunter being ahead is that they really don't need cards like this. They're just gonna continue playing their threats. Hunter is just not a class that you can really play control, just because of the hero power. The Hunter hero power, you always just wanna put pressure on your opponent, and it doesn't have to be on your face, just at least pressure on board. And this card doesn't really do this. This card makes the Hunter game pretty slow. Think the card is not gonna be any good in Constructed. It's just kind of unplayable. There are some combos of Unleash with Infest, but these are more theoretical, okay explanations how the card can maybe be not terrible. I think the card is really bad. For Arena it might be a consideration. I can see the card in Arena doing a decent job when value is sometimes in some matchups a big thing and it's a problem of the Hunter. But for the rest, besides the Unleash combo, I don't think this card will be seen much in Constructed. It's just too expensive for his effect. And here we have the Cabalist Tome. Add 3 random mage spells to your hand. Really interesting concept. I like this card. Really values the more fatigue mage, the slower control mage, the grinder mage. Like, this is a good card for it. It's you can see it a bit as an arcane intellect, and instead of that you draw the cards from your deck, you draw 3 random cards. I was even thinking how this one will be for freeze mage. I don't think that can really be a thing, but the cool thing is freeze mage can do a lot with the mage cards. They can, either they are freezes, they are damage, there are maybe some removals, but I don't think in freeze mage it will totally fit. But in the grinder mage decks, in the control mage decks, this card has decent potential. It's pretty like you give a wall turn 5 away, so you need to be ahead on board or not, or have the time to play these cards, and Mage actually can do that. Mage is one of the only classes that can recover really well with their big removals, with their freeze effects to play these slower cards. It's also gonna be a lot of fun moments. A really good card might be a pretty good card in Arena, where card draw is a big thing. also for mage. But we'll see. I think this card has potential. It's gonna be like, it is a really slow card. So it will only work in a slow deck. This card is not gonna be any good in a tempo mage deck or something. But it's a cool concept, and hopefully maybe it will give some cool moments. Okay, and this card I am really excited about. This one is one of the coolest cards announced so far. Ragnaros, the Lightlord, and we are like, what? Lightlord? What happened with Ragnaros? Ragnaros became a friend, is now healing. Yes, that is what Ragnaros is doing. At the end of the turn, restore 8 health to a damaged friendly minion. And so this Ragnaros has a Lightwell effect where at the end of the turn you are healing for 8, and healing for 8 is quite a lot. It can heal your minions on board, it can heal your face, so it has a lot of potential. It's gonna be, I'm not sure if it can, like, it is a really good card, so the problem is Big Game Hunter. And it's a bit like, I hate it a bit that I talk about this so much on stream, but this is just a card that is gonna be really good. But if there is Big Game Hunter in the meta, it's just gonna be so much worse. It's gonna be such a swing, and I really would like that Blizzard will say at least a bit more about what they are gonna nerf, because with all these insanely good legendaries or expensive cards, I cannot see Big Game Hunter standing. Like, Big Game Hunter is a really bad card for the game. It's really snowbally. It really makes deck building harder. Some cards are just unplayable because of Big Game Hunter. I cannot wait when Big Game Hunter is gonna be gone. The only reason why we like why Big Game Hunter is people consider it not being or broken is because there is the broken Dr. Boom. But without the broken Dr. Boom, Big Game Hunter has to go. I don't want to see Big Game Hunter anymore. It will make deck building so much like worse, and so much cards are just not gonna be played. But besides that, the problem for Paladin is Paladin has already a lot of tools to get heal. We have the Lay on Hands, what is a popular card. True Silver heals a bit. We have the Paladin has the Tuskar if you want it. Well, Healbot is gone, so not that one anymore. You have the Holy Light, but they are a bit more worse, but especially the Lay on Hands is also an 8-drop. And Tyrion is also an 8-drop. So it's a bit tricky to gonna play 3 8-drops, and maybe it's gonna replace the Lay on Hands. Maybe Lay on Hands will still be stronger. Depends a bit if there is gonna be any good card draw for Paladin, because that is one of the weaknesses from Paladin. But really cool for a mid-range Paladin, and I'm pretty sure this card has a lot of power, because you play it and you get the direct power. You play it on board and you can heal yourself for 8 directly back, if at least your minions are not being damaged. But you can play a bit with that, so I think this card has good potential. This is a really cool card. Ragnaros became the Lightlord. I'm excited for this one. And what do we have here, guys? The Vilefin, a Murloc card for a Paladin. 1 mana, 1/3. Battle Cry, your hero power becomes summon a 1/1 Murloc. First thing that comes to my mind is that Paladin already has a good Murloc synergy. It has the Murloc Knight, but it has also the anything can happen. So if there is a class where a hero power become a Murloc can have some synergy, it is in Paladin. And yeah, maybe we can make a Murloc Paladin happen. It's gonna be like the stats are already okay, right? We have a 1 mana 1/3. That's like totally fine. It's gonna be interesting if you like. Paladin has the tools, like put all the cheap Murlocs in the deck, play Divine Favor, play maybe Hobgoblin, because Murlocs are stacking well with Hobgoblin, and you can make a really good Murloc deck. I see pretty okay. If there is a class that can do it, it's Paladin. Paladin is the class where Paladin or Warlock are the classes you want to play Warlocks in. Warlock because of the hero power, Paladin because of the best Murloc synergy. Shaman doesn't have good Murloc synergy. They have like the bad Shaman card, the bad Murloc Shaman cards. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be cool. I'm pretty sure people gonna try this out. I think it's not gonna be strong enough yet. I think we still need more, and But there are like good synergies with with Paladin. So play all the cheap Murlocs, play Hobgoblin, play Divine Waver. You can make a really good deck with these cards. So pretty cool card, right? Get the Murloc hero power in. Okay, and here we have the 3 mana Paladin card. 3 mana 3/3. Whenever you summon a 1 health minion, give it Divine Shield. And just a short thing to clarify, if you have this card on board and you hero power, your 1/1 recruit also gets the Divine Shield. So your hero power becomes getting an Argent Squire, kind of. And this is actually, I think, a really good card. And 3 mana 3/3 is already okay. It's not good, but it's okay. But the potential of this card, like, you can play this and you just play like a lot of 1 health minions, and they all gain Divine Shield, and Divine Shield is worth kind of a lot. If you look at, for example, Minibot, Minibot is like stat-wise it's worth less than 2 mana, but power-wise with the Divine Shield it's for sure even more worth than 2 mana. You can almost value a Divine Shield as 1 mana, but it depends a bit in what state of the game you are. Early drops, it's the case for that. Later in the game it gets a bit worse. Depends if the minion has 1 health or more than 1 health, because 1 health is just a weaker side. But I think this card has good potential. It's gonna be a good card for aggro Palis. It's not gonna be a really popular card for mid-range Paladin, I think. But in aggro Pally, where you already play like your Abusive Surgeons, your Leper Gnomes, if they all get Divine Shield, it's freaking broken. But of course you have to get it off. I think this card can be good for aggro Pally. Like, Divine Shield is so strong. Divine Shield is really, really strong. Yeah, I think this card can be in aggro Pally. Also Magma Rager, guys. Don't forget the Magma Rager becoming also much stronger with the Divine Shield. But no, besides the jokes, I think this for aggro Pally this is gonna be a good consideration. You have too much synergy to not play it, in my opinion. There are too much 1 HP minions that you already play in the deck. You can also make like a really aggressive charge deck with maybe the Wolf Rider and these cards, but then it's gonna be too slow. You want to play it at turn 5 with an Abusive Surgeon and a Leper Gnome, something like that. But I see good potential for this card. But it's gonna be an aggro Pally relating card, in my opinion. I don't think, people say also might be mid-range. I don't think it's gonna be strong enough for mid-range. And here we have a new priest card, Shadowverse Horror. The horror begins. 4 mana, destroy all minions with 2 or less attack. And I like this card, but also priest has already so much removal. Why can priest only get removal? Why can they not just get good 2-drop or a good 3-drop? Like, what priest needs is not more removal. They can already remove everything from the board. I might not be the best priest player, but I just think they need a bit more stronger minions. I don't think they need removal. The good thing is that Death Rattles are gonna be going out of the set, so like against Death Rattles, again, when there are Haunted Creepers and Eggs and Shredders on board, this card's just not that good maybe, but without the Death Rattles being gone, it gets stronger. I mean, you have already the Organized Circle, you have the Holy Nova. Well, Light Bomb is gonna be gone. That's something I forgot. So Light Bomb being gone, this one might be a good consideration. The card is good, like, don't get me wrong. But I just... Priest has already so much. Like, it is I think you have to see it also as a replacement for Light Bomb, because Light Bomb is gonna be gone out of Standard. So they putting Light Bomb out of the set, and this one you get in. It's gonna be weaker than Light Bomb. Light Bomb is a really good priest card. I'm a bit sad that it goes out of the set, because it was the only, it was like one of the only tools priest could win the control matchups by still having a good deck against the aggro decks. But yeah, it might have some okay potential. Like, is it gonna be better than Holy Nova at all? Holy Nova heals you, deals 2 damage. I mean, it destroys for 1 mana cheaper. Only cards that have like 2, have like a more defensive stat than the attack is, it's gonna be verse against. But yeah, it has good potential. Also, it has like against Doomsayer, it's a good removal. But then you can also run Shattered Pain, right? But yeah, it's gonna be an okay card. It's really hard for me to value this card. I think if there is like a zoo heavy meta or a hunter and all these more tempo based aggro decks against Flamewaker, like these cards, it's gonna be really good. But 2 and 3 is a big difference. Like there are so many 3 attack cards. If it will be 3 attack, it will be better. It will be way better, way better. Of course it will be better, but it's a really big difference. And yeah, it's hard for me to like. But if there is like only Druid and control Warlock decks and like maybe Rogue, then this card is just not going to be good enough. But we'll see. It has potential. Like it's especially good against these swing cards like Doomsayer, Death Lords. But against that you also have the Shattered Pain, so I'm not so sure about it. Okay, and here we have a new Rogue Legendary, and this is actually a really cool Rogue Legendary. Xaril, the Poisoned Mind. Battle Cry and Death Rattle, add a toxic card to your hand. And if we look at the card, like because this is a really hard card to value, we start just looking at the card and what the stats are. We are playing a 4 mana 3/2. So if we just look at that, we have a horrible card, because if it will be in 2 mana 3/2, it was already like not good. So with this card we are losing 2 mana stats wise. So what we need with this card is a really powerful effect to make this card good. And now we look at the effect. The Battle Cry and Death Rattle add a random toxic card to your hand. And a toxic card is worth are 1 mana cards. And we can just take a look at them all. You see the cards below it. You have the Toxin, return a friendly minion to your hand. It costs 2 less, so that is a kind of shadow step what you're gaining for 1 mana. You have the give a minion 3 attack. You have a give a friendly minion stealth until your next turn. So this is kind of the spare part that we already had. So that might be like the only one that is not really that much better. 1 mana deal 2 damage, 1 mana draw a card. So what we are getting here is really strong cards. Really strong. And the thing why they are so strong is because the class, it is for the rogue class. And if there is one class that can do really powerful things with cheap spells, it is rogue. We have the spell damage things. We have the auctioneer. We have the combos that our rogue is relying on. This is a really, really strong card, I think. This is going to be Miracle Rogue making really consistent. I think this is just a card Rogue needed to make Miracle Rogue being just super strong. Miracle Rogue can handle like a 4 mana 3/2. Like that's fine for Rogue. They have enough ways to get back on the game. But if you play this, you play Pillagers, you play Auctioneers, like you can make miracles happen. And maybe I'm too excited because this card is uber slow. But I just love the potential that it has in the Miracle Rogue. So I think this card is going to be... And also the spare parts are just really... or the Toxin cards, I have to say, are pretty good. And 1 mana deal 2 damage, I mean... That is how we use Living Roots, right? 1 mana deal 2 damage. It's an Holy Smite. And Rogue has spell power, so it can even become better. 1 mana draw a card, I mean, yeah, it's not... You pay 1 mana to draw a card, but... It's a cycle, and I think it's totally fine for if you can play a card and you get a card back from it, draw a card, and you get 2 of them. They are random, but give a minion 3 attack. Also, the give a friendly minion to your hand, it costs 2 less. Holy shit, that one is so strong. I think the 3 attack and the friendly minion stealth are... the friendly minion stealth is also not bad for Rogue. I think this card has really good potential, man. I think this card is super... I love this card. Also, the concept of the card is super cool. I would like to have an expansion with a lot of these cards that make deck building so cool. Because this is a card you can make your deck around. And that's what I really like. And the Undercity Huckster. Death Rattle, add a random class card to your hand from your opponent's class. So what do we have here? 2 mana 2/2. Pretty bad stats. Death Rattle, add a random class card to your hand. So how good is this? 2 mana 2/2, draw on random cards. And we have Loot Hodder, what is on 2 mana 2/1, draw a good card. So it's not a good card. Because you are paying... Loot Hodder is 1 less health, but you draw a consistently better card. Yeah, it's not good. And Rogue doesn't play Loot Hodder, so there's no reason to play this card, I think. Maybe I'm too fast with my conclusion. Might be like it's still an okay arena card, but in Constructed, I mean, you get a random class card. It's not that you can, like, it isn't discover mechanic where you can choose the best one. It's really you get more resources, that's true, but you don't need that in my opinion. It's gonna be okay. Like, what they are trying here is, because the Death Rattles are getting out of the set and they released a Raptor some time ago, they still want Death Rattles for Rogue. So if you want to make your Raptor deck, this card is okay. This card is you can play. The effect is just a bit worse than Loot Hodder if you are not looking for resources. Maybe in Mill Rogue or something, but I don't think these cards are good enough. The RNG that you get for losing 1 mana compared to the Loot Hodder is just not worth it, in my opinion. Never. It can just not be worth it. It's also your opponent's class. I mean, a random card. There are a lot of... If there are like bad things, that like you can get really bad random spells that are totally have a way too high cost for what they are doing. So I don't think this card is gonna be good. But of course you will have these funny moments and everybody will see them where this card is gonna carry you once out of the 1,000 times. But I don't think it's gonna be a cool card to play, because it makes cool funny moments, but it cannot be good. It's just a worse Loot Hodder. Did this one already, right? Yeah. And here we have a new Shaman card. Thing from below. 6 mana 5/5. Taunt. Cost 1 less for each totem you have summoned this game. And I don't know what Blizzard is trying, but Shaman is getting really good cards, guys. That's the only thing I can say. Because if you look at what the effect is, 6 mana 5/5, it's like too much cost. If you have a 5 mana 5/5, it gets already okay. That is already really okay. If you play it for 4 mana, it's already way stronger than any other 4-drop. So play 2 totems, and this card is already really strong for what it is doing. But the cool thing is, it costs 1 less for each totem you have summoned. And if you know that the totem golem is also a totem, and you can play more totems in your deck, this card is just going to be super strong, and you can just hero power like twice in a game, and you will have it will happen really often that you play this card for 2 or 3 mana. You have the Tuskar. I think it also works with Tuskar. It works with Totem Golem. Like, it can just happen that you go Totem Golem into Tuskar into this one. Like, what the fuck? This card is so strong. I'm really happy what Blizzard is trying to make mid-range Shaman really strong. But the only thing I would like to see is getting rid of the Doomhammer, because that makes the aggro. That is why aggro Shaman is just better than mid-range Shaman. If the Doomhammer won't get nerfed or will be weaker, we can really make the people will really play mid-range Shaman over aggro Shaman. Now every card that comes out is like even better for aggro Shaman than maybe for mid-range Shaman. But if we just go back to the point, this card is gonna be so good. This is an insta. You play this card instantly 2-off in your mid-range Shaman decks, I think. I think this is gonna be in 2-off. I'm just surprised there is no overload faction on this. Every time there are good Shaman cards and it has no overload on it, I'm like, wow. Can Shaman really become so strong? But this card is so good. This card is good. You're gonna have the situations where you play it for 2 or 3 mana really often. Make some hero powers, play your Totem Golem, play maybe make a Tuskar. You can also taunt on this card, like what the fuck. Just a bonus, like why not? We also gain taunt, and Yeah, this is gonna be a thing, guys. Mid-range Shaman is gonna become the new Paladin. That's for sure. Yeah, and if we didn't have already a really good Shaman card before, let's make another great Shaman card, guys. 4 mana, 4/5, Master of Evolution. Transform a friendly minion into a random one that costs 1 more. So what are we getting here? We have some kind of recombinator. It's an recombinator is a 2 mana 3/2. This is a 4 mana 4/5. So stats wise, they have they are just really normal for their cost. But this is a Shaman unique card that transforms a minion into a random one that costs 1 more. So instead of making it another card from the same cost, your 2-drop becomes a 3-drop, your 3-drop becomes a 4-drop. And if you look at Shaman already has a lot of battle cries. For example, you have the Tuskar, you have the Fire Elemental, you have the Azure Drake. And on Tuskar, you play Tuskar as a 3 mana 3/2, but it's not that powerful. And then the next turn, you just put this card on it, and your Tuskar summoned a totem, and your Tuskar becomes a 4-drop. You play this on Azure Drake, you draw a card, and the next turn, your Azure Drake becomes a 6-drop. Like, there is just so much potential synergy with this card. The best thing what you can do with this card is to play it on Battlecry minions, because they have effect already on the board, and they have normally also weaker stats, so that's what you're looking for the most. Maybe you can do it on Death Rattles too, not sure how good that synergy will be, but I think also pretty good. So another great potential card. This card is a bit more situational, the other one is just super strong. This card is a bit more situational, but really strong effect. Like, Midrange Shaman is gonna be so strong, guys. I cannot believe how good Midrange Shaman is gonna be. Yeah, I think Midrange Shaman is gonna become one of the... It's gonna become tier 1 Midrange Shaman. With the cards that are coming out now, like, Shaman already has a really good basic set. Shaman has one of the stronger basic sets in the game. Shaman does not lose anything with the Naxxramas set, almost. The only card they lose Crackle, but that's more an aggro Shaman card. And they just get only great cards, guys. I don't know what to say. Shaman is gonna become really strong, but I'm also happy because Shaman was always one of the weaker classes, and yeah, Midrange Shaman is just gonna become super strong. And guys, we only get good Shaman cards, and they don't even have Overload. What is this? What is this? Not like this. Did I do this one already? I did this one already, right? I did this. Okay, guys, and we always get like super good cards being announced. There are always also bad cards that are gonna be announced, and this card was announced by Show, I think, and I feel bad for him because the last thing I want is releasing a crappy card like this, and then you are gonna try to be excited about the card, but it is so bad that it is just impossible. But yeah, what do we have here? The Tentacle for Arms, 5 mana 2/2. Death Rather, return this card to your hand. So it's a warrior weapon. I don't even know what to say because it's like so horrible. It's like, it's in Glaive Suka, but worse because we're not buffing a minion. So you are playing a card that is already 3 mana worse than another card that is not even popular. Like, it's just meh. And we get 5 mana 2/2. Like, it is some kind of fatigue card maybe. Like, you play this, oh, I have a 2-attack weapon, but 2-attack weapons are really bad. It doesn't kill much. You take the damage, you deal 2 damage, but you take also damage. You pay 5 mana. I don't even want to pay 2 mana for this card. We have the Fiery Warx in our deck as a warrior. Why the hell would we ever play this card? It's only gonna be okay for fatigue decks, but then we also have like Gorehall that just keeps being there. You don't want to pay 5 mana for this card. I don't know. I should maybe not really say much more. It's a really bad card. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a good 100 dust, guys. You don't have to think about it when you get this card. You can just instantly say, I'm gonna get my 100 dust. You don't have to reconsider, am I ever gonna play with this card? Do I really have to craft it away? Nope, it's instant 100 dust for you. No, you don't have to think about it, and that's it. See you later, Tentacle of Forearms. Okay, and here we have a really good, here we have another old god. There are gonna be 4 old gods, and the second one after cartoon that they announced was Xaril, the Corruptor. Says battle cry, summon your death rattle minions that died this game. So we play a 10 mana card, and 10 mana cards, if they don't have direct battle cries on the board, they normally cannot be played because they're just too slow. You cannot play a 10 mana card, do nothing past turn. But this has a battle cry, so that's already the good thing. And it summons all your death rattled minions that died this game. So that is a really, I think it's a really powerful effect. Like, these old gods have really powerful effect. So what you want is playing a lot of death rattle minions, and then you need the time. Your stats don't matter. Like this card, if it will be in 5-7, if it will be in 6-8, if it will be in 4-6, I don't think it matters much. The battle cry is so powerful that the stats are a bit irrelevant. And if you play a lot of death rattle minions, this card is gonna be, like, it's super expensive. So you cannot play too many greedy death rattle minions to make it happen. But I mean, there are really good death rattle minions. Well, you have like Sylvanas, Tyrion for a mid-range paladin, that are like the better ones. It's gonna be hard because it's super cost heavy now. I think of it. Death rattles are also being gone. Death rattles are mainly popular in the more aggro to mid-range decks. So you need to get the value kind of from the Sylvanas, and Tyrion. It's not gonna be good in a Hunter, right? Hunter has some good death rattles too with the high main, but it's gonna make like really, it's gonna make really cool decks happen. But it's gonna be really hard to pull this off. I first thought it's gonna be maybe super sick, but now I think more of it, this card is gonna be really hard to make off, because even if you play it and you get like a Sylvanas, you pay your whole turn, and you pay a really expensive 10 mana turn for this card. It might be the same problem as Ravam has a bit, where you get like a really powerful effect, where the card is just so slow. So we'll see. I think it's gonna be super hard to make this card happen in standard, because there are also gonna be a lot of good death rattles gone. If you will still have like the Shredder, if you will still have the Nerubian Egg, the Haunted Creepers, or the Belchers, it might have been a really good endgame card after all your death rattles. But without them, and we are more left with the really expensive death rattles, or just bad death rattles, I don't know if this is really gonna make it. It's probably too expensive for his cost. In Wild it might be a really good card. In Standard it's gonna be harder to put off than I first thought. So we'll see. And here the third old god. So we had already 2 old gods being announced, and here is the third one. It is Yishar, if I pronounce it right. The Rage Unbound. At the end of your turn, put a minion from your deck into the battlefield. Yeah, that's super bad. I'm a bit sorry about my fast reaction, but this is, I would like to expect a bit more from an old god. This is a really, it's just not a strong one. If you compare, like at the end of the turn, 10 mana, 10/10. So we pay, it's like the end game guard. At the end of your turn, put a minion from your deck into the battlefield. I mean, it's a random minion, right? It says put a minion, but I expect it being a random minion. You pay your Volt turn 10 to play this card. And the battle cry, like the problem is, if you compare it to the last one we revealed, the 10 mana 5/7 with a really strong battle cry, this is more 10 mana with a stronger stats. I mean, if I could at least get in my mind where there was no big game hunter in the Hearthstone, Blizzard, please remove Big Game Hunter. Okay, with thinking there is no Big Game Hunter, because I think Blizzard is gonna remove Big Game Hunter from the game. I cannot see, like, they announced, like, so much cool cards, and then they're, like, they know themselves there is Big Game Hunter. I also give my feedback, I said, please do something with Big Game Hunter. It's gonna make, it's just making deck building so much worse. It's gonna be good for us for Comedian Druid. Yeah, that is true. Because I played that deck yesterday and it's actually not that bad. So maybe for these decks, but I think there is potential for this card. I shouldn't be that fast. There's potential. But it's hard to make this one work. It might only be in a heavy ramp route that it's gonna be viable. But it's a random, so you want to have like an expensive. You want to do it in a ramp route or an Astor Communion route maybe. But I don't think this card's there are better cards, guys. It's pretty slow, man. 10 mana. You cannot play it. You cannot play it in any tempo deck. If the meta is at least a bit, if the meta is already built around mid-range decks, this card is gonna be too slow. So I don't think this card's gonna make it. It has to be worse than Varian, right? And Varian is not being played. 10 mana, 7/7. Draw 3 cards, and if they are minions, put them on board. I think it's worse than Varian, so in Arena maybe, but so, and here we have the Boogeymonster, guys. I don't even know why this is a legendary. I think you always need in the new expansions, you always need these legendaries that you are just really unhappy about by getting, and you just have to dust away. The Boogeymonster, when this minion then kills a minion, it gains +2/+2. So what we are playing here is a Pull the Fist Ogre for 2 more mana, and if it makes a trade on board, what is already hard to pull off, you get +2/+2, and it becomes an 8/9. An 8/9 for an 8 mana is not good. We are having a Ragnaros at 8 mana that has a direct effect. This one has to survive. It takes a bold turn, and you have to make trades. This card is not good. It's even for 6 mana. I think it was not good enough to being played. So nope. See you later, legendary. We are not gonna see you. Not in constructed, not in wild, not in standard, not in arena. Well, maybe in arena if you don't have any better to pick, but yeah, this card's not good. It's not good. Next one. Mukla. We have a second Mukla here, the Tyrant of the Vale. Battle cry, add 2 bananas to your hand. So Mukla became corrupted and is helping you a bit now. 6 mana 5/5 is really is too much for your mana cost. 5 mana 5/5, it gets reasonable. This Mukla, add 2 bananas to your hand. So when do you want to play? Is there a deck where it has good synergy? Because 6 mana 5/5 is so bad. And is the bananas ever... I mean, we have a Mukla for 3 mana 5/5. Why the hell do we want to play a 6 mana 5/5 now, Mukla? Yeah, we get the bananas to ourselves. But bananas are not worth 3 mana. Bananas are not worth... Like, getting 2 bananas is not worth 3 mana. So you want to play it in a deck where you can do much with 1 mana bananas. So you want to play it in a deck where you can play these cheap spells. So Tempo Mage, Rogue. But it's just not strong enough, right? Not for 6 mana. Hey, 6 mana. 6. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. No, 6. Beast Truth. Hunter. Nah, it's not good, right? I don't think it's gonna be good enough. Maybe I'm missing a point where you can do something in a beast deck or... But 6... I just see that 6 mana and I'm like, no. 6 mana 5/5. We can get better for that. We can get better stuff for that. It's too much cost. 6 mana is too much for a 5/5. Nah, I don't think it's gonna be good enough. It cannot be. It cannot be. 6 mana 5/5 cannot be. Not for this effect. Skilled Nightmare. At the start of your turn, double this minion's attack. So what we are having here is another dragon, 6 mana 2/8. At the start of your turn, double this minion's attack. Oh, when I always see these stats like 2-8, 2-5, 2-6, I'm always scared of the Kodos. I'm always scared of Cabal Shadow Priest. But besides that, 6 mana 2-8, that's so we want to play this in Dragon decks, and if you want to play Dragon's decks, they don't have to be like insanely powerful to get effect on. So what do we have other dragons at the 6 slot? So and when is it good? Is it if it is 6 mana 4-8, is it good? We have 5 mana 4-6, what is reasonable. So I guess 6 mana 4-8 is reasonable for 6 mana. It's a bit on underpowered, but reasonable. I have a hard time reviewing. So we have Ezra Drake, but the Twilight Drake is 4 mana 3-6 with taunt. Like, it can never be worth that we have a dragon that you pay 2 more mana for to get 2 more health and 1 less attack. No, that cannot be, right? Or is it? But that is like one of the stronger dragons, Twilight Guardian. Volcanic Drake is in 6 mana 6-4, but you play in Volcanic Drake for 4 mana, or maybe for 3 mana. The card's pretty bad, right? I have a hard time revealing this one. Or reviewing this one to say how good it is. Like Twilight Drake. Twilight Drake is often a 4 mana 4-8, right? Yeah, the card's pretty bad. or am I too fast with my conclusion? Because I'm thinking how good it will be in dragon decks, but I just see a lot of 4 mana dragons that are almost as strong as this one, but when you play this for 2 more mana. Yeah, I think it's gonna be not good. You can have some combos with this card, and it has potential, because having an 8 health minion is worth a lot. So it's not that it's not gonna be horrible, but nah, it's not gonna be good. I think it cannot be that good. You want to play it in an OTK deck, right? Where you can buff the attack and then it doubles the attack, like in an OTK priest or something. You wanna like shadow. You wanna play it in a stealth form maybe. It has some good cool potential maybe. And what do we have here? The Ancient Harbinger. At the start of your turn, put a Tentacles minion from your deck into your hand. So how good is that? We have a 6 mana 4-6, draw a card, draw a 10 mana card. Drawing 10 mana card. So what you want is maybe play in Katoon deck and play this card to make sure you draw Katoon at the start. So because Katoon, you just want to get it off as off early. So what 10 mana cards do we have? We have Katoon. There are not even that many Tentacles minions. And it has to survive. I mean, it is a situational card draw. At the start of your turn, put a Tentacles minion from your deck into your hand. If it is not there anymore at the start of your turn, it's gone. So you don't get the card draw. And an Ezra Drake is a 5 mana 4-4, guaranteed draw. This is a 6 mana 4-6, not guaranteeing draw. Situational. You can draw. There is like the death thing, but it has some good synergy. Stats wise, you are paying 1 too much mana for this card, in my opinion, because like a Druid of the Claw is a 5 mana 4-6. This is a 6 mana 4-6, and it will often just get traded away. This one doesn't survive if you don't put it in the stealth form or something. So stats wise, it's just not good enough. It trades away. Like, I love all these concepts, but the problem is that you're gonna get out-tempoed. Like, the first 2 weeks people gonna try out these new cards and it might work some way, but after that the constructed decks are just gonna smash on these cards that are just so slow, so greedy. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be good enough. Cannot be good enough. Skeram Cultist, 6 mana 7-6, Battle Cry, give your Katoon +2/+2 wherever it is. So yeah, another Katoon stacked card. I think in Katoon deck it's a good card. I'm still like, again, and sorry about that, but every time I see a 7 attack card, 7 attack in my being released, I'm like, can we please get that BGH nerf? Otherwise this card is gonna be so Gonna be so, it's making so different. It's a good card. 6 mana 7/6 is good. I mean, you have the Bull the Fist Ogre, what is in 6 mana 6/7. What is better than 6 mana 7/6 in my opinion. But you have it as an like you play this, you have in Battle Cry, and you play this of course in Cthulhu deck. You don't play it in any other deck. So this is gonna be a good Cthulhu card, giving your Cthulhu +2/+2. Like this is what Cthulhu needs. It needs good, consistent cards that are stat-wise okay, so you are also can win some games by just playing these minions. And it's an okay card. It's also not that bad for Arena. I think this is an with thinking that BTH is going to be removed from the game, what I think is going to happen, or that it's going to change. I think this card is good. I think this card is good. In Cthulhu decks. Only Cthulhu decks. But the Battle Cry is good. The stats wise it's a good card. So we can play this, guys. We can play this one, I think. Yes. Playable card in Cthulhu decks. In all the Cthulhu decks. No matter which class you're gonna play, this one can be played in all the Cthulhu versions. Here we have a 5 mana 4/4. So if we first only look at that, we are paying 2 mana too much, because what we play in 3 mana 4/4, I think, like we have the Ogre, but of course has a bit of an negative effect by not knowing what you're gonna attack. We have like the Spider tank, but is not considered being good enough to be played in Constructed. So we have a 5 mana 4/4. So we lose already. We are paying too much mana for this card, so it needs to be a really powerful Battle Cry to recover from this 2 mana we lose by playing it. The Battle Cry is for each enemy minion, restore 2 health to your hero. So it has like an heal bot effect. It's like a 5 mana, it's like a heal bot for +1/+1. For each enemy minion, restore 2 health to your hero. Yeah, that's a bad heal bot. That's not gonna be stronger than a heal bot. Because you don't want to play this card when your opponent has minions on board. You want to play these slower cards when you are decent on board. Like you play the heal bot when you've recovered with all your spells and minions from your opponent. Like you recovered and then you heal. It's not that you can heal when your opponent has minions on board. Like you heal, let's say he has 4 minions. You heal for 8, but then he does the damage again. Like it makes no sense. It's a really strange design. Because this is not how a heal effect works. It's like the it's like the last thing you wanna do. So this is not gonna replace Healbot. It's gonna be too expensive, and it is just the effect doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You cannot play heal cards when you are behind on board. That's like the worst thing you can do. The only class that can do it is Freeze Mage, because you can, like, let's say he has 5 minions, you play these cards and you freeze the board. Hey, that's interesting. Ah, but you don't want that. You just want to play your Doomsayer, or just... Freeze Mage doesn't need that. It's not good even in Freeze Mage. Because you are forced to freeze, I think. Ah, maybe not. Not against, like, Death Riddle. Not against Zoo, maybe. But, it has... Okay, it has potential in Freeze Mage. But knowing what Freeze Mage can do, this is not a good card, I think. If there is like nothing coming for Freeze Mage in this new set, then we're gonna consider this card. Because Freeze Mage has now 2 or 3 free spots. Mad Scientist is gonna be gone, so we might cut secrets. We are maybe not gonna play Ice Barrier. Maybe we only play 1 Ice Barrier. So then this card is considerable, but I think there are better options to go with. We had this. This is the last card. Yeah, last card, guys. The last card that is announced. The Spawn of Anzot. Death Rattle, give your minions +1/+1. 3 mana, 2/2. Give your minions +1/+1. You play this. Problem is your opponent. Like, the problem with this Death Rattle mechanic is that your opponent can play with it. He can clear off your other minions first, and then you die this one, and it probably only gives +1 to 1 minion. If it gives +1 to 1 minion, you have in 3 mana 3/3 +1/+1 charge. Nah, you need it on 2 minions at least, and then it's still not that good. It's not gonna be good. Nah, this card will not make it. It's too much. 3 mana 2/2. You don't even play 2 mana 2/2. I don't even think I will play 2 mana 2 to give for your minions +1/+1, because your opponent can just play around it so well. That's the problem with these death rattles, where you will buff other minions. The problem is your opponent kills off your other minions first, then they kill off this one, and there is not even a death rattle. And with this one, that is for sure possible, because 3 mana 2/2 is so easy to kill. It will die really often, really fast. So without this card having like a taunt or something, it's not gonna be good enough. I don't think it's gonna be good enough. So yeah. No, might be an okay card in Arena, but not having taunt on it is really, really costs you a lot. But yeah, that was the review, guys, of the cards that were released this week. There were actually a lot of cards being released. Around 45 is what we have now. There are gonna be, what was it, 130 new cards. So we know 1/3 of the set already. I'm hyped about some things. The Shaman cards are looking pretty insane. We have the Cthulhu, what is gonna be good. We have already some good other potential cards. We also have some really bad cards being announced. But what will an expansion be without bad cards? So yeah, thanks everybody for watching also this review. I will also release one of my cards. I have the honor of releasing one of the new cards. I am super excited about it. My release will be up next week. In 2 days you can vote for me. And I will release my new card next week. So super excited about that. And really thanks to Blizzard for giving me the option to doing that, because I really love it. And yeah, thanks for watching the review. So yeah. So now we're gonna, let me look at the chat. Let's go back. Where do I vote? You can vote next week, guys. I will be up this Monday in the voting system. And then you guys gonna vote for Thijs. And yeah. I will be, like there is, you can vote every week for a player. There will be 5 players to vote for, and you can, it will be on Monday, it will open